Hi everyone, Chat Pile's cool world. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I am ecstatic. I don't even have good words for it. I really don't. This album's incredible. I'm just gonna say that off the bat. I feel like I was right in a lot of my early thoughts on this album, even though I don't think I've actually shared any of them on the channel, which I will be doing right at this moment. I expected this album to be both heavier and artsier than why am I forgetting God's Country? I expected it to be a lot more ambitious in certain aspects, and I felt like it was going to be more concise, given the only criticism I really saw of God's Country was the fact that, oh God, I Don't Care If I Burn was kind of like everyone was like, he didn't really need an interlude. And then they got rid of an interlude track, put it at the end of another song, and then made a full concept album, which I did not expect. Because, first off, God's Country was probably a 9 out of 10. It's one of the, I think, best debut LPs a band has put out, sheerly based off the just sonic uniqueness of it. Like, there's simply nothing that quite sounds like a Chat Pile release, and I think this album has both cemented that fact, but then gone further than it, then expanded upon itself, and that's all I really wanted from it. But yeah, so let's talk about it. The three singles that were released prior to the album were I Am Dog Now, Funny Man, and Mask. And I liked all of them, but they felt disjointed as singles. Like, you could tell that there was more through line happening than what we saw on the outset. And getting the full album, wow, they were just hiding 5 tracks that are just, again, a concept album. Like, there's a concept EP happening within the album, and I just didn't really expect that. For those of you who may be wondering what exactly that concept is, it's camcorder, tape, milk of human kindness, and I think No Way Out. And I didn't expect those 4 tracks to fuck that hard. I think the only apt word to use to describe them is fucking, because they do. But again, let's talk about it. I Am Dog Now is a very clear statement on theology in America. I think it's a pretty good, apt description of Christianity, the hypocrisy of it, the plight of it that it is. And it's just a really good intro. I just like how Raygun sounds on it. I really like how the guitar is getting a lot more usage in this album. If you go back and listen to God's Country, there's a lot of guitar, obviously, but like the bass is very much the vocal point of the instrumentation. That remains true here as well, but it's definitely giving the guitar more room to breathe. I really like some of the effects on it. It gets really like art rocky at times, which I didn't really expect, but like it sounds like it's glittering a lot more on this album, and it's just a nice contrast to like the deep sludgy bass and the like really just punchy drums. So it's a good contrast. It keeps everything kind of lively and in a very eerie, horrific kind of way, which again, like, you're listening to Chat Pile. If that's not what you're going for, then I don't know what the fuck you want. But yeah, I Am Dog Now, great song. Next we have Shame. Shame's really cool. I really like how kind of funky it is. It's got a very like jumpy energy to it. And then when you get about halfway through, you get that like fucking beatdown section. And you're like, oh, okay, this album's doing a lot. Like, in the first 2 tracks, it's doing a lot. Frownland, really good too. Not as much to say about it. It's a more standard Chat Pile affair, but again, like, this album's just innovating a lot on the sound. So like, again, the guitars are doing a lot more. I say guitars, it's one guitar. The guitar is doing a lot more. The bass lines are just insane. Like, if you listen to the bass throughout any one of these tracks, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, damn, he's going the fuck off. And the drums are crazy too. He's doing a lot more, and they're getting a lot, like, the sections are getting a lot fuller, which is, again, a nice complementary thing to have. And then we have, is Funny Man fourth? I think Funny Man's fourth. I really like Funny Man. I was a little iffy about it at first, But no, this track's funny as fuck. It is the funny man track. But also it's a great commentary on capitalism, the plight of being a laborer in a workforce that does not value laborers. And I think it makes a really good statement on it while also being a really fun and energetic track. Then I think we have Camcorder, and Camcorder is a scary track. I didn't think they were going to put the Grimace smoking weed.jpg track in the middle of the album, but when I saw it was 6 minutes, I realized, oh, this is kind of like the statement. Like the rest of the album is actually more about this than anything else. And I was right, because it's about hitting people with your car, I'm pretty sure. Either that or hitting them with something and it being recorded. And I really like when Ray Gun gets into these characters and kind of like dissects the psychology of it. Like it's always interesting reading the lyrics, hearing how he portrays them, and the instrumentation is always, because they do it so they make the tracks and then he writes the lyrics and that's how they do it. And I really like how complimentary they always are. I always feel like it's always on beat, it always is on tone, which is something I feel like a lot of bands have a hard time with sometimes. So this track is just, it's one monolithic and it's very slow. It's like, it's a lot calmer than the rest of the tracks, and just that dichotomy of it is just so good, especially leading into Tape with that extended outro, and then Tape being a lot fuller, a lot more energetic, and then it being like, and they made tapes. It's like, I like how it's kind of like the statement piece to what Camcorder was, the kind of slow build. It's a really good pairing. I really like just those two tracks in combination with one another. And then we have Mask. I did not realize how much of a gay allegory Mask was at first, despite the fact that it is Mask as in the abbreviation of masculine, which makes a lot of sense reading the lyrics again, kind of like giving it a like fuller listen. It very much feels like a statement on masculinity, if not homosexual male love. And I really like that idea. I'm not sure if that's what the band meant, but like, it's definitely how it reads once you like, again, listen to the lyrics, read them, like kind of like let the song come over you. You're like, okay, this is kind of some gay shit, and I fuck with it heavy. And then we have my favorite track on the album, Milk of Human Kindness. When I saw the name of this track, I knew it was going to be my favorite, and I did not expect it to be this. God, what do I even like about this song? First off, the guitar, incredible. That chord progression on the chorus, fucking minty. The bass line, as always, is buttery smooth, while also being so sludgy. And the drums, I feel like, again, the drums on Chat Pile I feel bad because I never have a lot to say about them, but they're always good. Like, he's never doing a bad job. It's just I'm not a drummer. I don't have that much experience with them, so I don't have much to say. But like, again, the guitars on this album just got better. Like they were like, yeah, have like 5 more pedals actually, and you can really hear it in how this specific song sounds. I really like Ray Gun's performance on this one. I really like how eerie it is. The I screamed all night, I screamed, that repetition is fucking killer. And then the actual chorus of I'd never or what I'd heard nothing about the way they burn. Like, what a mental image to picture. Like, wow, I just realized this in the middle of recording. This is actually probably a follow-up to I Don't Care If I Burn. This is actually probably yeah, wow, I just made that connection in real time. Given that thought that I just had, this song is actually 10 times better than I thought originally. But yeah, no, like, just again, the chorus being I heard nothing about the way they burn, and then the I screamed. It's the like half verse right before the second chorus. The I see them everywhere I go, haunt me, you're allowed. Like, I really like the scenery painted, the imagery given, like, you know, like seeing people in the corner of your vision, but like, you know, you did the thing, so you have to be okay with it. Like, ooh, it gets the writer in me going, and I really like kind of trying to figure out what Raygun's perspective is like when he's writing these songs, and just again, the songs always sound so good that you're okay with listening to it multiple times, despite how fucking graphic they all are. And then No Way Out, I feel like, is a little weak given how strong Milk of Human Kindness feels, but like it's still just as punchy as the rest of the album, and the There's No Escape being the chorus. I feel like that's a really nice, neat way to wrap up the album. I also like how it's kind of, it feels like the only time Raygun himself is speaking. Like, it's not him in a character anymore. Like, he's saying, hey, I used to believe in a lot of this shit, and it's actually fucked. It's actually terrible, and we're all fucked, and there's no way to get out of it. Oh, the New World. I almost forgot about it. That track's killer too. I love the fucking I love the chorus of the uh, most are dragged out and kicking and screaming. Like, it's such a good commentary on the world, on how people are literally dragged out in a lot of instances in any context, whether it be eviction, whether it be displacement by a foreign country or a foreign power. Literally in any context, you could be dragged out of your job, you can be dragged out of your house, you can be dragged out of your fucking country if you're unlucky enough and brown. So yeah, just a killer album. This thing is loaded with commentary and just insane writing. Again, Raygun's one of the like few vocalists that I can think of who's truly writing like stories for songs, and like it's something a lot of people do, sure, but it's not to this extent. I think he's really, and his songwriting got so much better on this album. Like, before, the stories were good, but they'd be really sparse. He wouldn't get very into it, but this feels like he's really like, that horror movie watching has gotten him places. I have to believe so. But yeah, this album's a 10. This thing is insane. This thing is incredible. I listened to it twice last night. I've listened to it like 3 times today already. It's fucking killer. I love it. And yeah, go listen to it if you've somehow watched this entire thing just now and have not already heard it. Go listen to this album. It's dark, it's eerie, it's got moments of strange beauty, and I think this is what everyone expected Chat Pal to have the potential for when they heard God's Country. When Anthony Fantano said, I feel like they can do more, this is the more. They got rid of that one interlude track, and then they replaced it with a fucking banger. So yeah, 10 out of 10. I love Chat Pile. Next time they're in Cali, I will be starting a mosh pit, and I will just be hitting people. I don't give a fuck.